Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream. It has been a while since I have, done a live stream. So yeah, I'm back. I've got glasses now, by the way. Hello, Azza. Huh? What? Oh, shit. Hold on. Oh, really? What? I'm sorry, I've got to have a fucking age... I've got to have... Are you fucking mad? Age verification for fucking Minecraft? Oh, fuck them. I'll have to do it later. Later, I guess. That's fucking mad. You need age verification for Minecraft. Minecraft? You can't even send photos on here. I mean, I know... It's fucking mad. Hello, everyone, by the way. I've just found out that we've got to access the other social things. I have added you, but I'm not sure what episode it was, so... Yeah. You are added though, but I just don't know what episode it is or when it'll be. It's like, I've just found out you've got to verify your age to access social things on Minecraft. Like going on a bloody server. Fucking maddening. Madness, mate. I know you're missing out on you. Yeah, I'm aware of that as well. Age verification, for fuck's sake. I just dropped out of high school for real. Oh, hello, Ready Sus. Hello. I'm alright, thanks, Ready Sus. Are you alright? Right. Right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Great. Age verification for fucking Minecraft. Like the online stuff, like going on servers and things. Fucking maddening. Why do you need it? I mean... Hang on. Hello, Dave. How are you? Age verification for fucking Minecraft. The social features. Wow. Astonishing. Oh, guys, even though the game is for, like, literally 7 and over, you've got to have flipping age verification. Oh. I'm doing alright, thanks, Dave. I'm just doing this. Well, just found out you got to have age verification for the online things on Minecraft, like going on servers and things. Great, I got to sign in to get the bloody social things as well. Sign in to, like, bloody... I'll do it afterwards, I think. Trust me, I can't use Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. Alright. That's a shame. I'd argue Snapchat's full of fucking weirdos anyway, so I wouldn't be missing it, personally. Oh yeah, that the UK are planning to implement that as well. In Australia, yeah. Well, personally, I think with the I've looked at it from a different lens. When I first looked at it, I was the pro, oh no, don't implement it. I low-key broke the law. When I first looked at the under-16s ban in Australia, or when they were thinking of implementing it here, when I first viewed it, obviously I was like, oh no, don't do it, because like, it'll, I was like that, right? But then when I looked at it from a different lens, I could see the potential with this one. I can see what it can do. I think, right, because the term, you become what you eat. Obviously, that's more of a jokey thing to say. But I've started to think of the term, you become what you watch. And with the amount of people we've seen commit crimes on the streets, that usually when it's young kids, it's like, it comes down to who they watch. Or, because it's like, what I mean by you become what you watch, it's because when you're like you're 11 or under 16, most of the time it's like you're forged by who you watch. Like most will say, well, Andrew Tate, right? Most young people are forged by what he says, and all the other incel influencers and all that stuff. And then that leads to little incel murderers. When it's like, they're all taught, oh, if I do this, then they can't say no. But when they actually say no to them, they start getting irrational. They start getting irrational because they've never been told no up to that point, and they start lashing out and murdering. And it's like, I think this ban could work, personally. Hello, Greg. How are you? Because I think this ban could work. It has potential if they change other things as well. If they don't... Because I was thinking maybe this could help with education as well. It's like, if you're not allowed to access social media until you're 16, which is when you could legally have it, then you could literally be taught how to treat different kinds of people. And then, when you are at the age of 16, you'll have that built into your mind where you get that built into your mind, don't you? The more it's said to you, the more it starts getting built into your mind. But in that way, at least positive things are being built into your mind instead of toxic things. You know what I mean? Because when you do get it at 16, if it's banned in your country, you will already have awareness of what's right and what's wrong to a degree. I'm not saying the education system will fully teach you everything you need to know. How's life? My life's alright, thanks, Greg. It's one of those things where it has potential because of those types of people. Yeah. It has potential if they actually update the education system. And if they... Because most businesses in this country close down, not just because of how high the taxes are. That is definitely a primary factor to why most of them shut down. Because believe it or not, within almost 2 years of the Labour government, almost 50% of UK pubs are a part of British culture. British culture. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. Go in there for a pint, talk to a few friends, have a laugh, have a bit of banter. It's fucking brilliant. But this Labour government doesn't like our culture, doesn't like our flag, and they'll do anything to try and stop us from acting out in national pride. They're going to try and guilt trip us, and they're going to try and prevent us. Hell, they don't even like Christmas, because some of them have said that Christmas is a quote-unquote white man holiday. And it's like, when the fuck has it been a white man holiday? That's just the left. Like, making things up to make us look bad. Make people who have national pride look bad. Because it's really bad. Because it's like, when you try and show pride in your country, you're called a fascist or a Nazi or a far-right actor. Like, it's always that. That's the only thing they can come up with. And it's not... What I find bad is, right, because there are... Look, this may be getting a bit too much here. I may be getting too deep into this. But there are still Holocaust survivors who are alive, right? They're still surviving Holocaust people. Most of them are still alive. A majority are dead, but most of them are still alive. How do you think they feel when there's these left-wingers who have no idea what real Nazism or what real fascism is, and they're just calling anyone who disagrees with them, you're a right-wing fascist, you're a Nazi, you're a... That is just a slap in the face to the people who actually lived through Nazi or fascist Italy. That's just a slap in the face to them, isn't it? It's like with the word woke. They have a go at people who are, right-wing people. They have a go at them for saying the word woke, and they use woke as a buzzword, not in the actual term it's used. Which woke is where you stand up to social injustice and you're very aware of social injustice. And then there's the left, who are having a go at us. They're being hypocritical, saying, you're using the word woke in the wrong way. No. Yet again, this calm stream went really dark quickly. I know. And then there's the lefters who are going, fascist, Nazi. And it's like, do they even know what those terminologies even mean? Or are they just using it as a buzzword to try and make people look bad? It's just... What a slap in the face. That is just awful of them to actually do that. But yeah, back to what I was actually saying. I don't know why that went that way. Basically, what I was trying to say was, under nearly 2 years of the UK government, the Labour government, 50% of pubs, almost 50% of pubs have closed down due to how high the prices are. No, not how high the prices are. Due to how high the taxes on pubs are and how low the wage that pub landlords get. The tax is higher than their income. That is the problem. What they should do is reduce the tax, increase the wage. That is what I think should be done here. And it's not just because of how high the taxes are. It's also due to the amount of people who don't really go to pubs anymore. Not really. Most of them are just spending their days inside, on their laptops, on their computers, on their... Look, I may sound like a boomer here. I'm not. I like social... And I'm 16 anyway. So even if the ban does get implemented in this country, then it's not really going to affect me in particular, because I'm 16 already. But it's like... It's because... The reason why most people don't go out to pubs or cafes as much is because most of them are sat on inside going on the social media and their interwebs. You know what I mean? But with the under-16s ban, I mean, sure, they can go on TV, right, and they can literally do things in their house still. But I think that'll increase the amount of sociability in this country. Outdoor sociability will probably increase, hopefully. And by the time sociability rates increase, that should hopefully mean that they go out to more places like pubs and cafes and other things like that and help support them with the pace. So, I think that could work. The ban could work. I've looked at it through a different lens and I think it has potential. But it needs to have those things implemented in order for it to work. If you're gonna ban under-16s, ban but not change the education system, then you've literally just done a pointless ban. And it's not going to change anything. Right? That is what I'm thinking. Sorry about that political rant thing. So, moving on. Moving on. I know that did get really dark quickly, but I was just there making a point how these left-wing activists are using words like fascist and Nazi and far-right, even though there are literally still Holocaust survivors who are alive. And they're probably just sat at home watching all these left-wing activists going, oh, fascist Nazi, far-right man, nah, 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 nah. Yeah, I've seen the Toy Story 5 trailer. It looks a bit... I'm not too sure on it, because it's like... It's just another Toy Story movie initially. I don't know if it's going to add anything to the Toy Story franchise that we've not seen before. I mean, sure, the whole idea of toys versus technology is... Woody's bald. Yeah, I've seen that. Toys versus technology could work. But I think it's a bit... It's a bit of a cash grab, initially. It's a bit... It's just there. Sure, I think it'll be another one of those goodbye things. And it's like, why? What is Toy Story? As I've said with this before, it's why I've complained so much about Kung Fu Panda 4. Kung Fu Panda 1, 2 and 3, you started off with Poe's journey. I stopped at Toy Story 3. Fair enough. It was like Kung Fu Panda 1, 2 and 3. Poe's arc is ended perfectly in Kung Fu Panda 3. And then Kung Fu Panda 4 comes along and it just butchers Poe. It turns him into a bit of a fucking idiot. That's what I don't like about it. I also think the pacing's a bit bad. The writing's really bad. And the villain is just rubbish. Not that threatening. Not that intriguing at all. It's just another generic take over the world villain. They don't... And the line that really pissed me off with the chameleon was that the reason why she's so evil in the first place is because she wanted to learn Kung Fu, but they said she was too small. That was why. Even though there is literally Mantis and Viper, even Master Shifu, who I am pretty sure is a little bit shorter than the chameleon. And he's a Kung Fu master, isn't he? Size doesn't matter to be a Kung Fu master in that universe. So the fact that she says that she was called too small to learn Kung Fu is just fucking bullshit. And it's also the fact that why does she turn into this almighty shape-shifting villain? Trust. Yeah. It's like, why? Oh, I got declined. Oh, I wasn't accepted into being Kung Fu Panda 4 just trash. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Greg. It's like, oh, they wouldn't let me become a Kung Fu master. Now I want to take over the world. It's like, what the fuck? That's not justified. At least with Tai Lung, it was like, he was brought up by Shifu. Shifu kind of overpromised Tai Lung by saying, you will become the Dragon Warrior, you'll become the Dragon Warrior. But in the end, with him being overpromised, Master Oogway said that he had a darkness in his heart and he wouldn't be the Dragon Warrior. And obviously that shattered the promises that Shifu made to Tai Lung. So then Tai Lung obviously went a little bit mad and he kind of destroyed a bit of the village. And obviously he was locked away in a prison for most of his life. Until he came back, Poe defeated him, boom. And then with Lord Shen, the Furious 5 came late at the end. Yeah, I know. That was such a lazy way to write them out. Why Why would they bring the Furious 5 in if they weren't going to be in the movie at all? Oh, it's just awful. And then with Lord Shem, Peacock, we all know that he's a bit of a genocidal murderer, isn't he? He literally wiped out a village. Well, it was presumed he wiped out a village of pandas. The village that Poe's biological parents are from. And the reason was... it was something to do with fireworks, I think. And it was like... he was there. He was with his parents. And then there was this prophecy that the goat woman said out that Lord Shen would be defeated by a warrior of black and white, and then he immediately presumed it was a panda. So he decided to send out his men to go and wipe out a village of pandas, or wipe out any panda he can find. And then obviously Poe got evacuated to where the obviously the village with Ping, and then there's Lee, his father. But at the end of Kung Fu Panda, obviously Lord Shen did end up getting defeated by Poe. No matter how much you try to prevent the inevitable is still going to happen. And then it turned out that some of the village actually survived, and they've been rebuilding since then. And they've been hidden away in the mountains. And then in the third film, we learn about General Kai. He's a bit of Kung Fu Panda 3. Yeah. And then we get to learn about General Kai, an old enemy of Oogway. They were good friends, really good friends. Him and Oogway got into a battle with a few people in the past. Oogway got injured. General Kai took Oogway to go visit this village of pandas who had these like sort of spiritual powers that could like sort of heal Oogway. And then it was called Chi, basically. And what it is like, what was it? Oh, the Chi is basically the spirit of a Kung Fu master. And basically, General Kai saw the potential or the power that the pandas yielded, and he wanted all the power to himself. So he became a bit power hungry. So Oogway destroyed General Kai, and General Kai got banished to... what was it? The realm. What was that? God, what was the bloody realm called? It's where Kung Fu masters are sent. It's where Poe skadooshes people to. The Dragon Realm? The Dragon Realm? I think, is it called the Dragon Realm? Hold on, let me look. The realm in KFP. The Spirit Realm. That's the one. Sorry, it's been a while since I've watched Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, the Spirit Realm. So Kai got banished there. Centuries later, obviously Oogway died, so he's in the Spirit Realm now. Kai rematched Oogway. Oogway's presumed to be one of the most powerful Kung Fu masters, and General Kai proves his presence by just taking Oogway's chi, just like that, just by the click of a finger. It shows who he is. Then he tries to steal. Obviously, Poe does defeat him in the end, and then boom. Kung Fu Panda 4 initially rips that off, because what it is she resurrects Kung Fu masters from the Spirit Realm, or she brings Kung Fu masters from the Spirit Realm, and she basically defeats the Kung Fu masters, and then she steals their Kung Fu, and that gives her the ability to transform into them, or gain the abilities of them. It's literally just ripping off General Kai. Her presence is not shown at all. The only scene we see her trying to prove her presence is the first scene, where the chameleon is disguised as somebody, and then she's at this dinner party, and these people are talking rubbish about the chameleon. The chameleon reveals her presence. She turns into a big elephant because that's who she stole Kung Fu from. She just pushes someone down the stairs. Not threatening at all. Not ominous. What would have been better is to show these trained kung fu masters try to go for her, but then she just wipes them out with ease. That would have proved her presence better. But instead, she just pushes them down the stairs, and all of a sudden, they're just scared. It's fucking madness. Honestly, Kung Fu Panda 4 is just a shit movie. It's not very good. And it's the same... Now, back to what I was saying with sequels. Do not make a sequel to a movie unless you actually plan to explore the characters more, you plan to explore the world, or expand on already existing things. Do not make a sequel. What was it I said in that? I did a short. I remember it was a while ago. Hold on, let me watch it. Hey everyone, I thought I'd come on here to tell you something that has been announced recently. Hold on, I don't know if this is true. If we couldn't get enough of the Kung Fu fighting and DreamWorks have recently just announced Kung Fu Panda 5. Ah, fuck you, DreamWorks. Just why? Why? You need to know that about sequels. Is it a story that's worth... Yeah, sorry. Do not make a sequel to a movie unless it's a story that's actually worth telling. Because if the story's not worth telling, then that just tells me the only reason you made this movie was because you wanted a bit of dosh in the bank. That is all it is. Do not make a sequel to a movie unless it's a story that's worth telling. If it's like expanding on the characters, expanding on villains, introducing new concepts. Just a movie you're genuinely interested in making and not just some fucking cash grab. That is what I meant. Do not make it unless it's not worth telling. And Toy Story 5, I don't think is a story worth telling. Yes, the idea of toys going up against iPads is probably cool because it's obviously a thing that's happened a lot recently. So obviously they're going to take advantage of modern events to actually make that. But I don't even think they actually care about making this movie. I don't even think they even cared about exploring characters. I think they only made it because they wanted to get a bit of money into the bank. And it's like, why? It ended at 3. Why do you need to make more? Kung Fu Panda 3 perfectly ended Po's arc. Kung Fu Panda 4 butchered Po's arc. And it's like, the arc of Kung Fu Panda 4 is like Po having to give up the Dragon Warrior role to progress as someone else. The spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. And it's like, it's not even an arc that he has no agency, Po. It's forced down his throat. It's like, Po, you must become this. You must become this. He has no agency. He has no agency in that movie at all. It's like, the whole idea of him needing to progress, him progressing into the next role, it's not a choice that's made by him. It's not something that he's ready to do or he's willing to do. It's forced upon him. We see in Kung Fu Panda 4 that Po is still in his prime as the Dragon Warrior. And he's perfectly fine. He's still young. He's still energetic. He's still a bubbly idiot. He's still a bumbling idiot at times. And then there's Master Shifu, who's been dialed down to a grumpy old fart, who is just like, Po, you need to progress as the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. This choice, this decision, is forced upon Po. No agency in that choice whatsoever. Like, also, how come Master Shifu wasn't like that to Oogway? Oogway, you must become this, you must become that. And it's like, how come that? Because Oogway was clearly very old when he was Dragon Warrior. And then he progressed when he wanted to progress. Right?
But how come when it's Poe, someone who's still young and energetic and is still passionate about the Dragon Warrior role, how come he's forced into changing his role? How come he's forced into changing, but Oogway wasn't? It's fucking mad. Honestly. Oh, the movie, man. It just pisses me off. Oh, Poe. I think maybe it should have been like... Maybe Poe was a bit older or something. Or maybe he felt like... I don't know if Toy Story 5 going to be well. Probably not. I'll probably watch it, but I'm not going to get my hopes up for it. Because that was my mistake with Toy Story 4. It was because it was like, oh, it's another Kung Fu Panda movie. I'm going to watch this. I'm excited for it. But when I watched it, I was fucking disappointed. So I'm not going to overhype myself with this one. Yeah. Do not tell a sequel. Do not do a sequel unless it's a story that's worth telling. Or if it's going to expand on the lore that you've built. Especially if your story's already been completed, what's the reason for making a new movie? Is it because you're wanting to do an epilogue? Or is it because you want cash? Which one is it? That's my problem with things nowadays. The wrong movies are making billions. What you didn't like about Toy Story 4? Toy Story 4. It's been a while since I've watched Toy Story 4. So if I were to watch it again, I'd watch it with a more critical ear. I've not watched it. I don't think I've watched it since bloody 2019, which is like when it came out. So Toy Story 4 was a bit... I'm not sure what to think of it, personally. I guess you could say Toy Story 3 was a conclusion through the Andy years. It was like you watched Andy grow up with the toys, and in Toy Story 3, I'm not too bothered on the Cars movies. I don't think the Cars movies, personally, I don't think Cars is that good, personally. I think it's a bit personally. What was I going to say? Toy Story 3 was a conclusion for the toys being with Andy. What I liked about it was that it was the toys letting go of the past. It was about letting go of what came before. That's what I liked about it. Toy Story 4 tends to be described as a movie that's more of a conclusion for Woody, basically. It's one of those things where it's like, Woody isn't exactly played with as much anymore. He reunites with Bo Peep and he meets these new toys and he's like, he's been apart from Bo Peep for a very, very long time. I want to go be with her now. So he initially abandons the toys to go live with Bo Peep. It's initially a conclusion. It's conclusive to Woody's arc, really. I don't exactly know what arc Toy Story 5's going to have. Is it going to be an arc about... It's not going to be that again, is it? Where it's like, oh, toys are outdated and technology's the future. Because that is initially what happened in Toy Story. That's a literal rehash of Toy Story 3. Letting go of the past. Or wait, or it could be about accepting the future. Right? I guess you could say Toy Story 3 was about accepting the past or letting go of the past. And Toy Story 5 could be about accepting the future. Because it's like, maybe it's like when there's the iPad there, the toys are like, oh, it's an iPad, it's taking Bonnie away from us. Maybe in that movie it's like, maybe the iPad isn't as bad as they're making it out to be. And maybe it's one of those things where it's like, the toys are just too old to understand. It's like, it's one of those things where, like, you have to accept the future. Times can't stay they were forever. Things must progress, which is also Toy Story 3, but put into a different context. So I'm not sure what Toy Story 5 is going to be about. It's obviously toys versus technology. But I'm hoping, personally, that it's worth it. I was hoping that Shrek 5 would be about... I don't know if any of you have seen my rewrite, but it took after Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. The iPad has eyes. Yeah, I know. Or Lilypad, or whatever it's called, because they can't use the word iPad in the movie, or else there'd be copyright struck, or else they'd be sued by bloody Apple, so... What was I going to say? Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4... I can't remember what I was going to say now. I don't know what Toy Story 5 will be like. Shrek 5, yes. I did a rewrite where basically, at the end of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, right, it turned out that Puss, Purrito, and Kitty were basically on a boat, set sailing for far, far away, which is obviously the world where Shrek lives, right? They go there, Shrek and Fiona have aged a little bit, but just because they've aged, it doesn't mean they can't be the voice the way they were. And it's basically an end-of-life crisis where it's like, Shrek has seen himself visibly and he's aged a lot. And basically, he wants to be young again. He doesn't want to age. He doesn't want to die. And then it turns out that there's the legendary Fountain of Youth, basically. And it's like, you know what? Shrek, Dragon, Donkey, and there was something stupid I did where... So they go on a quest to the Fountain of Youth so that they can be young again. Well, Shrek wants to be young again. And basically, the villain of the film would have been an evil alternate Shrek. A Shrek from an alternate universe who was basically who basically looked like a gargoyle. A gargoyle Shrek with red eyes. I think he was called Dark Shrek, but I can't remember his full name. I can't remember what he actually was called. Shriek? He could have been called Shriek. That's a cool name. Comes through. Basically what he does is he resurrects the fairy godmother. He resurrects Lord Farquaad. And basically that's it. Just a bit of fan service in there since it's a bit more conclusive. It turns out that Dragon, Donkey, and Shrek's grown-up children, not just the one voiced by Zendaya, the three of them, have been taken by the evil alternate Shrek, and they've been gargoylized. They've been turned into evil gargoyle versions of themselves. And then it's like, they go to the Fountain of Youth, evil Shrek and the past villains ambush them. But at some point in the movie, they reunite with the Resistance from Shrek Forever After. The Ogre Resistance. They basically team up against evil Shrek and all them. How does the Fairy Godmother get defeated? I'm about to go watch Toy Story 4 for the first time on Disney+. Ah, cool. What happens? Basically, what happens is how does Shrek defeat Fairy Godmother? He puts her in the Fountain of Youth for a few times, where she eventually becomes a little sperm in an egg, and she basically dies. How does evil Shrek get beaten? Basically, what happened was, in the alternate universe with that Shrek, apparently there was this particle or something that if you were a good person, you would stay good, but you would have the power of immortality. No, not immortality. It was something. It was like evil Shrek had a disease, and he wanted to live desperately. And then this little thing that went into him was so evil. And it kind of made him evil. Shrek does defeat him in the end. And then Shrek accepts that he doesn't need to live on. And he basically possesses the thing that... He possesses the thing, but the thing basically... It was basically a good Shrek had been possessed by an evil thing in an alternate universe. Basically, evil Shrek is relieved of his sins and he goes back to his universe. It's one of those things where it's like, you can release this Shrek from his sins, but at the cost of your life. And old Shrek decides, you know what? You deserve to live your life. I'm going to possess the thing. You go and live your life. He goes back to his alternate universe. And then Shrek is down. He's accepted his fate. He doesn't want to be young anymore. He doesn't want to live forever. He's just accepted his fate. Fiona, Donkey, and all them are there. They're by his side. They're all sad. And then Shrek says goodbye to them and he perishes. He turns into dust. And what happens after that? We cut to the present. Where, you know where you think that his graveyard would be? You'd think it'd be in the swamp. You'd think it'd be at far, far away. But you know where it is? The thing that we know about in the first movie? His memorial is in the Onion Field. That's where his memorial is. The Onion Field. And then we cut to a scene of Donkey looking a bit saddened. And then cuts to the Donkey movie, which it was announced not too long ago that there'd be a Donkey movie. So that kind of fits perfectly, I guess. And it's a good conclusion for Shrek, I think. It's like he's had a bit of an end-of-life crisis. He discovers the Fountain of Youth can make him young again. He travels there because he wants to be young. He accepts his fate. He dies, and he's remembered for the hero he was. And I think that would be a better conclusion. Because after watching that little teaser, I don't like how they did it. What the fuck have they done to their designs? And what the fuck? Social media in Shrek? Fucking madness. Right, anyway. That's in today's episode. If you drop this hashtag, I'm going to give it a like. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.